Hi friends, I have another craft for you today. Today we are gonna make a bendable fabric flower. Isn't that cute? Look at all those different colors. Very cute, pretty simple to make. And so I'll show you how it works. So put this over here. What we need is this fabric. Any scrap fabric will do. A friend of mine, Peggy, at the center, gave me all these pretty colors, and they are cut in 2" by 7" strips. So we need some Mod Podge and some wax paper. That's our first step, is to paint this. So got a little Mod Podge, got some wax paper. But we have to let it dry, so I did that part earlier. So this is what it looks like. So I put them out on the wax paper, and I use the Mod Podge and I painted over it to make it saturated, and then I let it dry overnight. So you want to make sure it's completely dry before you start working with it. And it might work with using a heat gun or a hair dryer to dry it, but I didn't try it. So you could try that and see what happens. One thing about the glue is it helps the fabric be more stiff, but it also helps it not fray. So just pull it off. Pulling these off. All right. And we don't need that. Okay. Now I have 7. We're using 7 for our flower. So 7 pieces of scrap paper that is 2" by 7". All right, so that's what's gonna make our petals. Then we need some pipe cleaners. White. We would need 7 pipe cleaners, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 for each petal. White is a good idea because when you trim it up, you can see the edges, but the whole thing is about a colorful flower, so I am not opposed to using a color one for sure. And then we take the pipe cleaner and we are going to bend it in half, except we're not going to crease it. We're going to bend it in half and then cross it over about 2 inches. So I have a ruler here, and it does not have to be exactly 2 inches, but I have my loop 2 inches, and then I'm going to twist this down here a couple of times to make sure it's nice and tight. And then I'm going to make 7 of those. So once I have one, I kind of eyeball it to measure it with the first one. They don't have to be exact. I don't think flowers are exact. I could be wrong. Flower petals. Anyway, so we are going to make 7 of these. So you just crisscross it about 2 inches. I'm kind of eyeballing it with the one I had the first time, and twist it a couple of times. 2, 3, whatever. So this is going to be what gives us stability and mobility in our petals. We're going to cut the excess off, so it doesn't have to be exactly in half. And who knows, as long as your pipe cleaners are, you might be able to get 2 out of 1. I think it'll be a little close. Mine are just traditional. I don't know, they look like a foot. Nope, they're a little smaller than 12 inches. But anyway, right, we got 2 more to go. I'm kind of elongating mine just a little bit. I sneezed right before I pushed record. Pardon my sniff. All right, so now we got 7 of these and we have 7 things of fabric. So let's make some petals. You fold your fabric in half and go ahead and crease that. And then we are going to glue this onto the fabric. Hot glue, yay. Let me move my ruler there a little bit. So this is how I do it. I put a bead of hot glue around my petal form, lay it on my fabric. We're cutting around it so it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I put another layer on the top. So I put another layer of glue around the top. We don't want it coming up. Whoops, stopped my glue there. Fold your flower petal back in half and tap it down. It's a little hot, so be careful. So then we got something that looks like this. How I put this in here, I'll show you again on the second one, is, let's do another one. Fold this in half. So you have a sealed part and an open part. The open part, you stick this one in. So the loose ends of your form and the loose ends of your fabric are going the same direction. We're just sandwiching it in there. And set that on and put another layer of glue on the top part. It doesn't take a lot, but I don't want any gaps. So all the way around, flip my fabric back over and hold it down. Again, doesn't have to be perfect because we're cutting it off. And there's the second one. Fold in half. So we do this 7 times. Isn't this awesome fabric? Yeah, my friend outdid herself. And what a great way to use up scrap fabric you might have at your house. It's a great way to use that up. Friends, I gotta share something with you while I am doing these petals. So, I just figured out today that I am close to have recorded 100 craft videos. Can you believe that? I can't believe it. I started this during COVID as a way to engage. I work with senior citizens, and a way to engage, give them something to do from home. And it all started with using whatever you happen to have at your house. And we just started crafting together over Zoom when everybody was doing Zoom for everything. And so we'd connect from our homes and we would craft together. And we actually crafted live together my seniors and I, but I recorded for people who couldn't come at that time, or they couldn't figure out Zoom. And I would email them the videos. And that's how we started. And a few short years later, we're at 100 videos. Crazy. I'm very blessed to be able to share my crafting love with whoever wants to watch. All right, we're almost there, people. I usually have some of these done ahead of time before I get on the video with you, but today you get to do it with me. And it's relatively a short craft, so I think we can do all of it. Only got 2 more. All right. Oh, I love these colors. All right, while I'm finishing up the last 2, we need scissors, right? So that's another thing on your supply list. We can't trim these up without scissors. So we've started with fabric, Mod Podge, wax paper. I used a paintbrush to saturate these in Mod Podge, so that would be a supply that you would need. Now we're using hot glue. We need hot glue. And then we need scissors to trim these up. All right, how are we going to get all of these to stick together and make our flower? We have a 1-inch styrofoam ball. That's how we're going to do it. And we are going to insert this pipe cleaner into the styrofoam. Alright, put that down, 1 more layer. I'll show you how we finished off our petals. Alright, we'll let this one cool off and we'll start with my first one. Alright, so grabbing that, this is what we've ended up with. You can see when it's in front of you by the shape where the pipe cleaner is, and I'm just going to cut around it to make a petal shape. I'm going pretty close to the pipe cleaner, so here's a suggestion. Start out a little further and figure out what you like. Now I've done both sections at the same time, right? I like the way I can trim this. I start out with a little extra so I can make it the shape I want it to be, right? And then cut down the bottom part 1 layer at a time till you go around the corner there. Because we're going above and below the pipe cleaner. Can't cut straight through or we cut the bottom of our pipe cleaner off. So then I trim it up a smidge so it looks, not that this part really matters because it's going to be covered up, but we'll make it a pretty shape. And then I am going to cut one of my ends off. So snip, we don't need that. And then this one, start off with like a 1/4 inch. Is that a 1/4 inch? That's more of a 1/2 inch. Might be too long. Anyway, you can't if you cut it too short, you can't make it longer, right? So start off with like a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch. This is what's going to go into the styrofoam. And oddly, if it's too long, you know, the pipe cleaner is bendy. Very flexible. So it doesn't, it's got the wire that's in it, and that helps it go into the styrofoam. But if it's too long, it just bends. It doesn't go in. It just bends. So you'll figure that out quick when you start trying to put it in the styrofoam. And, you know, you got your hot glue gun here, right? So you can always glue the end of the pipe cleaner before you put it into the styrofoam. That'll give you a little more security. But depending on how long you've got your end and how much, how stable you can get it going inside of the styrofoam, you don't necessarily need it. Like this one doesn't have glue first. All right, where am I? I'll smooth this out a little bit. So if you notice, I am cutting both of the top and bottom layer at the same time, so it matches. There's my second one. But technically you're only seeing one, right? You're seeing one end of it at a time. So you'll figure it out. The lighter colors are easier to see where your pipe cleaner is, but you can feel it for sure with your scissors. So now I'm down at the bottom again, and I'm gonna go on top of my pipe cleaner to trim this around to my pedal. And on top of this one. Cute, huh? All right, so with the pipe cleaner, we have flexibility to shape it, bend it any way we want it. I need one of these. And trim this down to about 1/4. Now I've got 3. I'll trim this down a little bit more. Make it a little more elongated, I think. Awesome. I think this is a cute spring craft. I'm so ready for some good weather. Where I am, we have not had a lot of bad weather, but I have family in other states, and they even currently have some, you know, part of the country's had a bunch of snow. So they're dealing with some of that. Boy, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with Mod Podge, isn't there? Lots of stuff. All right, we only need one of these. Down to about 1/4 of an inch. Over halfway there. So you're seeing in real time, this craft doesn't take too long. This fabric cuts so well because these are not good scissors. Definitely not fabric scissors. I'm not sure I'd want to use my fabric scissors on fabric we've already put Mod Podge all on. It's not needed, as you can see. It's working just fine with these guys. Trim this down a little bit over here. Awesome. I only need one of these. And about 1/4 of an inch. I think that might be a little long, but we'll figure that out later. 2 more, people. All right, this is a dark one. Gotta feel around. Make sure I know where my petal is. I'm cutting out extra and then trim it up. Oh, so pretty. Alright, let's get this side. There we go. I'm making a bit of a mess. Alright. Trim you up, make you look like a flower petal. Middle of the side. This would look cute too if it's more rounded. You can do whatever you want to, however you want to shape your flower. I don't need both of these. And cut that shorter. One more. Where's my end? All right. Alright, what's that look like? Trim it up a smidge, get rid of one of these, and cut this one down. Alrighty, we have seven petals. Get off my workspace a little bit. Sorry for the mess. Okay. Now, I am putting my petals out to make my design, how I want my colors to go. Separating my darks. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so figure out how you want your petals to go. If your colors are multicolored like mine, then you get your styrofoam ball and press it to make 2 flat sides, like where your forefinger and your thumb will be. And then I just use it on the table to flatten it out just a smidge more. Get some more oomph. You can always cut it with scissors to make it a little flat. We want it three-dimensional. Yeah, we want it to be flat, but not like smushed like a pancake. We don't want that. We want some oomph. All right. Just like that, flat ends. And then now we get to see how we put it in and how thick it needs to be because of your wire. So I also use my thumbnail a little bit to start my, pushing it in. And you either need to do it like in the middle or a little closer to the top. So my first one, I went pretty close to in the middle. And see what I mean? My wire. So I'm going to cut this down a little bit. The wire is a little too long. Where's my hole? Right here. All right, so I'm using my fingernails and pressing this in. See? Nice and stable. I did forget one thing. I want it to bend up a little bit. Like this. So I'm going to actually bend it before I put it in. I want to have a little more dimension to my flower than just straight out, but daisies are straight out, so it's your flower. You do it the way you want to. I want mine to have some curl in it. I'm gonna curl it before I put it in there. So then you just go around. I'm gonna turn this off because I know my thing is too long. And play around. You want them close, your petals close, but not overlapping. Use your fingernail and the wire and stick it right in there. So remember, start out a little longer. You see what works for you. You got lots of options here. You could poke a hole in it with a skewer. Another thing we're going to use, you can use a wooden dowel or a skewer, whatever this is to cook with, for your stem. So you could like pre-cut a little hole in where these petals are going if you want to, but my nails seem to work well. My thumbnail I'm digging in and helping to keep stability and sticking this right in there. All right, I got 3 more. So here's a good thing. Say I'm putting too much space in between my petals. You can pull the petal out and move it and adjust. And if your styrofoam's getting a little weak or whatever, hot glue fixes lots of things, not everything. Lots of things in the craft world, that's for sure. All right, let's put this one in. Oh, it's shaping up great. So I'm pushing in with my fingers, but I'm digging my fingernail in just a smidge to kind of stabilize this wire. One more. Did I do the spacing okay? Let's see. Not too bad. A little crowded over here. Look. Awesome. Oh my gosh. That's great. 7 does it well. Okay, so now I have a skewer, right? I'm gonna cut my tip off. I did not cut the tip off of that one, and it poked a little bit. So I'm gonna find my center and put this in, but I am gonna glue this a little bit just so it has more stability. Put a little bit on there. Put it on top of the hole that I already made, and then just stick it in there. Oh my gosh, so cute. Okay, you could leave it like this. If you like again, it's always your craft. You can do it any way you want to. You can leave the white in the middle. I got a little piece of scrap felt. This started out being like 2-inch square, and I cut it in a circle. Mine's about 1.5 inches. Isn't that gonna look cute? I'm just gonna glue that on top, and then I'm gonna pick a button out. You can do whatever you want to. You don't have to use felt. The first time I did this, I used fabric. I didn't have felt. I did have to double up the fabric so it didn't show through. But now I have this awesome purple felt. And so I cut it to about 1.5 inches, like I said. This is an inch ball, styrofoam ball. And I'm gonna glue it on top. You could wrap it around and glue around the styrofoam so it covers the whole thing up with the fabric. This one, I'm just putting on top and letting it flow over, just like this one. And then, because that's cute, I like that. But you could glue it all the way around if you want to. If you want to do that, you need a bigger one. You could paint it. You could use paint and just paint the center. If you have that, you don't have any felt or fabric, extra fabric you want to use. Or you could take markers and do the same thing. Have a yellow button. I'm gonna put in the middle. You don't have to put anything in the center. You could use magazine cutout, put in the center. I mean, it's endless. Just think, what would you have at home and what do you want to put in there? You could put a bead in the center of this instead of a button, or not put anything in it. It's yours. Look how cute. I'm gonna have to fluff this one up a little bit more. I like those coming up like that. All right, here's my fabric, my bendable fabric flowers. I hope you make some for yourself. It's so fun. You saw how fast it was. It's easy. And that's it. That's what we've got today. Thanks so much for coming. I hope to see you next time. Bye.